Hi there, this is Just a Girl in Camas, Alicia King, and I'm coming to you in June, almost the end of the school year, and I'm actually at Skyridge Middle School, and I'm here with the science and track coach. This is Mr. Condon. I'd like you to meet him.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm honored to be here today, and sometimes I feature businesses in Camas, things going on. But one thing that's really special to me and I love to showcase is people in our community doing good things. And this gentleman here, I called him up and he's like, "Why do you want to talk to me?" And I said, because my daughter's a seventh grader here, and actually, since she started Skyridge in sixth grade, I have heard this guy's name multiple times in my household, not only from her, her friends, family, in the community. This gentleman is making an impact. And so I would like you to get to know him a little bit better, as I am going today as well.
Okay.
So let's start with, I know you're a science teacher here, and let's talk about your history with teaching. Where'd you start? How did you end up here? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Interesting question. I actually started, grew up in Vancouver, Washington. Went to
you're
school in
local.
Vancouver. Yeah, I went to school there. Did my student teaching in Vancouver and at McLaughlin Middle School. And I so wanted to teach there. That was my goal, to be able to teach at McLaughlin. And they didn't have a job opening, and so I had to get started in 1986. And so there's an opening out here. I applied for it. They interviewed me. I say they hired me 10 minutes before the bell rung for first period in 1986. So they needed a warm body in here. So I came in, had a great year at the old middle school down where the district office is now, and taught a year. And after that first year, I get a phone call from McLaughlin Middle School saying, "Hey, we have an opening here in science. Nobody in the district's applied for. We'd love for you to come in and take the job." And I turned them down on the phone. And that was 29 years ago, and here I am, and loving every minute of it.
Great.
Yeah.
So it was actually our gain that you didn't get that job right off there.
I
would
see it's
say.
my gain. The kids in Camas and the support in Camas and the administration and the superintendents and the parents is just there's no place else to teach but here.
Okay, this could get into an emotional interview, actually. I did hear an interesting fact about your history tied to Skyridge exactly. So tell me a little bit about how you
How I
came
got
to be
here. Sure.
Yeah.
We my first 10 years we were down at JDZ, which is the old middle school down where the district office is now. We outgrew that. This was built. So in the fall of 1996, we opened up Skyridge, and Joe Sosky was our principal. And so the spring of the previous year, I was in my classroom at JDZ. And Joe walks in my room and says, "Hey, you want to go for a drive?" So we got in his car, we drove up here, and at that point, the building was nothing but mortar and blocks and cinder blocks and cement. Nothing was really here, but we walked around, got a tour. And he stood me right outside my door right out here, and he said, "John, I want you to be the first one here at Skyridge to pick out a classroom." And I was just blown away. And so I picked this particular science classroom as opposed to the one next door, because right across the hallway, if you noticed, is the Commons area, and that's where kids hang out. So I just want to be around the kids. And so that's how I got into this room and here at Skyridge. And currently, I'm the only teacher there this is the only classroom that's only had one teacher in it since this place opened. So as I say, I've been here since the paint was wet.
Right. And
Yeah.
yeah. So that was 1996. So this is Skyridge its 20th year.
Coming up this fall will be our 20th year opening. Ironically, it's my 30th year teaching too. So that's kind of a neat little, yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's
congratulations.
yeah.
That's quite a
All in
celebration.
Camas, yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
And do you live in the community
I
as
do,
well?
yeah, I do. I moved here about 7 or 8 years ago, and I love being in the community. I love seeing kids at the store, at the gym, and that sort of stuff. The community is just a wonderful place.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, another compliment I have to give you is all the kids want Mr. Condon as a science teacher. And I know they're all great teachers here. It's tough, though, because not every kid can get him. But I want to give you an example of what goes on and what I think engages these students and really gets them into science and asking questions. Behind us, we have a crime scene. And I think if I recall, you call this the Duncan crime scene.
This is Duncan the stable boy.
Tell
Right.
us a little bit
Well,
about what's going on back here.
Those of you that know middle school kids know that they can be a little wild the last week of school. So we do this to keep them focused and keep it in the world of science. And so what we do is I set up this. They walk in here on Monday and they see this. And the idea is the first thing you want to do is who killed him. Well, the first thing they need to do is decide, was this a murder or was this an accident? And so they use their science to try and come up with an answer. So they go through a week of this, studying this, and we do some fingerprinting techniques. We do some white powder analysis. We had to look at white powder, as you can see in my room today. And then tomorrow we do some blood spatter where they test how far blood can drop and make a spatter. And they take all this information, and then their final product is to make a claim of what they think happened here, and then they have to support it with evidence that would make that seem like a right. And that's where science is going these days, is you have to make a claim, but tell me why you made that claim. What makes that a legitimate claim? They love it. They're on it. I love it. It's very active in here the last week. They all want to know by Monday what happened at Duncan. I tell them I don't know. I wasn't here, and let them come up with what they think happened.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they come up with their theories to
They come
it.
up with their ideas and support it with evidence of what we've done all week long, and it's just a great time.
That's great. Well, I can tell from my kids and watching several kids in classrooms, when they're engaged in the project or what's going on, they're wanting to learn and they're wanting to explore. And I don't think you could come in here and not want to know what's going on and study the crime scene. I mean, he has flies flying around up top. There's a broken clock back here, a saddle. It looks like a pretty interesting mystery that I might have to ponder my theory on as well. So I got to meet you this year with track. My daughter did track, yes, and I did announce a little bit.
Awesome job announcing.
Thank you. And I watched you out there, and I watched your energy and your passion, and I watched how all the kids were coming up to you with different questions. You were patient, you were kind, you were encouraging, and I loved watching you, and it clicked for me why these kids follow you around here and want you to sign their yearbook today and everything. And I want you to tell our listeners, what's at the end of every email that you send out?
I have a quote at the end that says, "The kids won't care what I know until they know I care." And I think that goes back to when I was in 7th grade, and I had a rough time. And I think it kind of stuck in me, the importance that these kids want somebody to care about them. And we all think that they have 2 parents at home and grandparents and all this stuff. Their home is such a perfect place, and it's just not for some of these kids. And to be able to feel that with the kids and to be able to connect with the kids and make them feel that somebody cares about them. Believe it or not, some of these kids go all day long without any communications with people, and that can't be. And so I want the kids to know that when they walk through this door, they're going to be safe, they're going to learn, they're going to be cared about. And I think that's the key. And the kids know. They know who cares about them, and that's a really important part. Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your 30 years coming up here, and thank you for caring, because I see it in the kids and I hear it from the kids. And so I want you to know that your message is getting through.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. I've enjoyed this feature today. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want you to know about this guy in our community, because if we make any type of change out there that's positive, it's a domino effect. And middle schoolers especially need to know that we care and that their teachers care. So this is Just a Girl in Camas, Alicia King. Thank you.